Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello, whatever time it is with you and wherever you are. Thank you for downloading this SmackDown review as part of the WWE podcast. As always, it's an absolute pleasure to have you listening along once again. I am Amanda, your host of the SmackDown review. And happy Mania weekend, everyone. If you haven't done so already and you care to do so, please check out my Mania preview and prediction show that was done this week. Matt put that up, I think, Thursday. So please go have a look, see what you think, see if you agree or disagree with my previews and predictions for Mania this year. Let's get to it though and review the SmackDown that aired 17th of April, obviously from Las Vegas. And we start off with a really nice vignette, bit of lovely production of the past Mania over 4 decades, guys. That is a lot of Mania. This was actually a pretty cool video, an example of the awesome production WWE can pull out of the bag, and to be honest, definitely made me have the feels. We get our arrivals. We got Jade with her B-card army and Rhea. Sami Zayn, who got resounding boos when he was seen arriving from the crowd, and Trick, who we will hear from tonight. We've got all the competitors for the Fatal 4-Way Women's Tag Title match. Now, notably, no Bella twins, and the rumours are huge about Nikki Bella's involvement following an ankle injury, so that will be interesting. And we then have the arrival of Randy and the Idiot-in-Chief McAfee to huge boos. Aldous meets him at the car. He hands McAfee a contract and he says he needs to read it. Randy says he'll leave them to it. He's going to the ring. McAfee tells Nick Randy's off to ruin the show by telling some truth. He keeps calling Nick foreign Adam Pearce, which is just odd. I don't really understand where we're going with this or why McAfee signs whatever the hell this contract is. Anyway, Randy's music hits and he makes his entrance. He gets decent response, not overwhelming boos, which means it really is McAfee that everyone's hating, not Randy. Joe Test just called McAfee the ultimate disruptor, and honestly, give your head a wobble, Joe. Do a history lesson. McAfee doesn't even count as a road bump in the grand scheme of things. He's just an idiot. And spotted in the crowd a sign that reads TKO is toxic. Make of that what you will. Pretty sure we won't be seeing that one again tonight. And the crowd cheer for Randy as he starts to speak. He says he's going to be the first one to admit he doesn't need Pat McAfee. He says the truth is he wants him. He says McAfee is the only straight shooter in the company. He says he doesn't tell him what he wants to hear. He tells him what he needs to hear. He says what he needed to hear was just to be him. He says we were all set. He knows what he needs to do. He's all set to face Drew. He says he knew he could do what he needed to against Drew and win, but then Cody won the title back, and there was a hell of a lot of boos just at that one statement. And now he has to face Cody, his friend. He said then Cody gave him permission to be himself, and he says he didn't need Cody's permission. He wrote the book on being himself. He says friendships work with give and take, but with Cody it was all take. He says tomorrow night they main event, night 1. 2 years ago Cody needed a friend and he called Seth. More boos there as well, which is interesting. Suggests that Seth got booed as well. He said even though he was there and all he got for his trouble was put through a table. He then says he gifted a title match to KO, and what happened? KO turned on Cody, and what did Randy do? He tried to defend Cody, and what did he get? He got a career-threatening pile driver. He says McAfee has done more for his career than Cody has done in half a lifetime. He says helping Cody has done more to hurt his legacy than anything else, and he says tomorrow night he will fix it, take home number 15 with the 4 most dangerous letters in sports entertainment, RKO. So for me, a purely typical bit of WWE rewriting of history. The promo itself was decent. Randy is a great talker. Just don't understand why McAfee. What made him go from goofy part-time comms guy and occasional passable just in-ring talent to suddenly the law and the arbiter of the whole of WWE? Think of the people that it could have been, that voice in Randy's ear. Off the top of my head, it could have been Taker in Randy's ear. So much more believable that Randy would listen to him. Could have been someone like, I don't know, Kurt Angle. Again, believable. Could have been Stone Cold. Could have been Regal. Could have been JBL. The list is infinite of more acceptable and appropriate people who actually have a clue how the business works and have been there. But McAfee just doesn't cut it for me. Honestly, speaking from someone from the UK, most people outside of the US don't even know who he is outside wrestling, and I still just hate this part of the story. And comms need to remember what side they're on the whole of this as well. They're absolutely mugging themselves off, building this up. It's just like McAfee is apparently king of the world. No. We go backstage for more McAfee. They get in their bromobile and McAfee tells Nick he's putting in words with the higher-ups for him, and they leave, which is just all very eye-roll for me. Back now to some in-ring action. We've got the MFTs with Solo in their street fight against the Wyatt Six. This one starts off with the Wyatts getting an early upper hand, and this one is predictably messy, chaotic, and fun. We get some brilliant action from all the guys. Bit of a botch on a move from Loomis and Gacy, which is a shame because the first half of it looked absolutely epic. That ended up in a weird slow count from the ref, ending up as a close 2, but in reality was probably about a 5 or 6 count. This one ends though as Tama Tonga was about to finish and put in all the hard work, but Solo sneaks in, hits the spike on Uncle Howdy, getting the pin and the win for the MFTs and Solo. Post-match, Tama looks mad as hell with Solo, and we carry on with this breakdown of Tama's relationship with Solo and the MFTs. Backstage, we go to Truth and Priest. Truth is carrying on with this whole confusion between Asuka and Danhausen. Cursed, blah, 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 blah. Truth tells Priest he needs to get it together. They've got a title defense tonight. And how could we forget that tonight we get the Andre the Giant Jobber Battle Royale to do. We then, quite randomly, get footage of Miz and Maurice renewing their wedding vows as Danhausen appears at the ceremony. And he curses everyone. We get a brawl and Maurice ends up with her face in the cake, and oh god, that's all I've got, literally. Oh god, seriously though, is Vince back? This feels one step away from Diva era jelly matches. Now we get a police car arriving backstage with all its lights and sirens on, and that brings Fatu to ringside. Talk about leaning into things, I love that. He climbs on top of the police car and cuts his promo. He says to Drew, you want to tell the whole world I'm still a criminal. He says, we can talk about my life, I'm not afraid of it or ashamed of it. He says he doesn't live that life anymore. He says, you thought putting me in cuffs in front of my family was going to embarrass me, but that doesn't bother me at all. He says even the Popo know that he ain't the same guy anymore. He says tomorrow night is an unsanctioned match, and that means that no one can stop him beating his ass. He says there's no friends to save you. He tells Drew, you tried to put me back in the jail cell, but he's already put that in his rear view. And when he finishes with him tomorrow, that's exactly where he's putting Drew, in the rear view. This was a great promo from Fatu and more great production from WWE. I think Fatu is going to destroy Drew tomorrow night. He is so over and I love it. As I said on my preview prediction show, I do think we're going to get a Fatu win, quite a dominant display. And I think that will write Drew off of WWE TV so he can go off and film Highlander, which I believe is in the works. And then hopefully, I hope that we can get Fatu pushed to the absolute moon. We get Shalexa backstage, and Bliss is talking about Charlotte becoming best friends and how they need to beat Lyra and Bayley tonight to get their momentum. Flair says friendship is the best, but how great would it be for them to be two-time champs? I hope they keep these two together for a bit longer. I've said that for a long time now, but I do fear the end is coming. Next out, we've got Truth and Priest in a tag title match. They face Kofi and Waller. This one gets underway. We're seeing some of Waller's best moves. A decent enough match, which ends as Truth and Priest hit the 1D to get the win. As I said, a decent enough match. Really a typical Mania weekend, offering a crowd pleaser, getting it as many fan faves on the crowd as possible. And that's okay. If I paid as much for my tickets as these people have to see this set of shows, I'd want to see all my favourites too. We then get another reminder of some of the shenanigans that have gone on between Cody and McAfee the last few weeks. And after 3 million adverts, we finally get Jade out with her B-card army to a massive round of boos. And I know we have my thoughts on Jade and indeed her B-card army, so let's see what tonight's instalment brings. We really are in the last knockings of this build, so we need something to be activated now. Jade goes to speak, but Rhea's music hits right away, and out comes Mami to hopefully sort everything out. Rhea says to Jade she wanted to come out before she started talking and wasting everyone's time, which I think is a really class line. She says she wants to beat her up right now, but she doesn't want to give her a chance not to be able to walk into Mania. She says she's normally not the most patient person, as the crowd cheer for Mami. She says, "You're lucky I'm not getting in there right now." She says, "You must be scared." She can't wait to embarrass her. Interestingly, we don't get any reply from Jade. We get B-Fab saying she's the one that should be embarrassed, and as she keeps coming for Jade and failing, and B-Fab getting Dom level boos here. Rhea says she hasn't had the chance to come for her, as Jade's done nothing but hide. She carries on hiding behind the B-card army and behind social media. She's done everything to avoid being face-to-face and alone with Rhea. At this, Jade backs off her B-card army and the crowd start booing as soon as Jade opens her mouth. Jade says she's scared. Why would she be scared of some cosplaying goth chick with insecurities? She says, "I'm everything you wish you could be. I'm a real bitch." Jade says, "Hiding? No, I've been trying to spare you." Rhea says, "You think I want to be like you?" She says, "I don't want to be anything like you." She says she's been fighting with people like you, Jade, for her whole life. She says, "You want to bring up my insecurities and you think they're a bad thing and you think they hold me back." She says, "No, they made me the person I am today and the reason I'm a multi-time champ." She says, "We can make it quick if you want, you narcissist thick-ass bitch," which is an awesome line. Rhea really bringing this home. Now, a tiny bit of blurring lines of the real stuff that has been talked about this week regarding Rhea and some issues. Pleased it didn't go too far down that route, as I don't think it needs to be shouted about. For me, I've long predicted a Rhea win here, and I still think that's what will happen at Mania. I remain entirely unconvinced by Jade and hope she can take a step out of the main title picture, while we hopefully get a returning Bianca Belair at the end of this match and a Bianca Rhea program, which would be absolute fire for me. Backstage now, we've got Solo with his MFTs. He's telling them the Wyatts are finished, and it happened because they were a team. Now, Tama does not look convinced at this. He tells Tala then to go out there and win the Jobber Royal. I defo think we're getting a Tama turn, and I am here for that 100%. I want to see him first, but then more of the MFTs strike out on their own and see what happens. Straight on now to the women's US #1 contender match. We've got Jordan versus Tiffany Stratton. And of course, at ringside, there to absolutely make up the numbers, we have our quote-unquote champion, Giulia. She's at ringside with Kiana. This one kicks off, and honestly, it should be a good match. These two are great, and sure enough, we get some impressive moves from both straight out the gate and some near technical pins. Com's doing a great job talking up about how disappointed Tiffy must feel going from the heights of where she was, now starting again for the US title picture, which I think is a nice little element of storytelling. Grace hits her folding powerbomb but can't get the cover, and Tiffy manages to finish things off with the prettiest moonsault and takes the win. Tiffy becomes the number one contender, and I would absolutely love to see her take the belt off Giulia. Do, however, hope there's a plan for Jordan, as she is a real supreme talent and well deserves all of the flowers. Next out, we've got Trick Williams, and he comes out alone, no little Yachty on his entrance. He looks back to last week's match where Trick beat Cadona and Little Yachty got a hell of a kick to the face. He tells Sammy that last week he hit my friend with a haluva kick. He says he doesn't know when he's coming back. He says it's worse than hurting his friend, it's hurt his entrance for Mania. So they aren't willing to wait for the weekend, they are dealing with it right now. He calls Sammy out, and we get Sammy's music, but it's a gingerbread man costume, which I assume is meant to be Little Yachty. Trick introduces the gingerbread man and asks if there are any die-hard Sammy fans here in Vegas this weekend. In his moment to the title, and the crowd start chanting, "Whoop that Trick." After a little bit of back and forth with the gingerbread man costume, Sammy himself comes out and says that's funny. He says he's glad that he's having so much fun. He says he wishes he was having as much fun, but the truth is he hasn't for a long time. He says he's walking into Mania as the champion, but still that isn't enough. He says by the sound of it, the fans haven't been having fun lately either. He says he isn't sure what he did wrong, as the crowd are booing Sammy really hard. He says the truth is he doesn't care. He's doing this for all the ride or die Sammy fans. He said the ones who have been there since day one. There are plenty of them, apparently. I'm not seeing a lot of them at the moment, though, I've got to be honest. They'll be in his corner, apparently. He sends the gingerbread man away and continues to tell Trick he hasn't showed him anything apart from a good entrance and a catchphrase, but nothing he's shown him in the ring where it matters. He says when he looks at him now, he doesn't see the future. All he sees is a little punk rookie. Sammy tells him he doesn't have a plan. Trick says he is the plan. He says you're one of the most respected guys in the locker room, but you threw it all away because the rookie got in the game, which I don't massively understand. He says he's the one that is going to get the job done. Sammy says you aren't in my head. He says if this is the master plan, standing here with a gingerbread man, then good luck, you're not in my head. They start to brawl. Sammy manages to clear him out of the ring, which leaves him in the ring with the gingerbread man, who is nicely positioned in the corner for the hell of a kick already, which Sammy delivers. And as the gingerbread man falls over, the head comes off a little bit, and we can quite clearly see that definitely wasn't Little Yachty in that costume. But as his back is turned, Trick Williams hits the trick shots. And that's how that ends. Now, this is interesting. Sammy is getting properly booed. And it's not just because they like Trick boos, in my opinion. Sammy seems to be attracting some proper hate. Are people sick of him and his crying over opportunities? Or is Trick so over that it cancels out Sammy? I am calling a Sammy win and a KO return at Mania, and those two team up in some kind of awesome heel team. But let's see. I don't have that on any authority. I'm not sure how close KO is to returning, but I hope that would be great. And then we've got a promo from all of the ladies that may or may not be actually involved in the tag team title match this weekend. Starting off with the Bellas saying that they're stepping up. We then go to Shalexa, who say it's not about where you've been, it's about who runs it now. We then get Bayley saying you don't get handed anything. Bree says Nikki is rehabbing so hard and fighting to get back. Bayley says it's about what you can do when it matters, and Bree says it's about showing people who they are now. Bayley says at Mania they are bringing their best, and Nia says at Mania you'll all get your moment and it will be their last. Now, this was a nice idea. This wasn't in person. This was done by video edits, but it was a really good promo for the tag match. Very different. So we haven't seen any Nikki. Indications are from different podcast source and writing that she won't be fit for Mania, but pinch of salt, shovel of salt, it could be a huge work. And there is a hell of a lot of noise which has been building over the last couple of days about Paige's return. And honestly, she could fit in anywhere. She could fit very easily into this title match. She's got plenty of history with the Bellas that they could build on should they want to, or she could also make a return around the AJ Lee Becky match, which is very interesting. Apparently, again, from sources of other podcasts and etc., Paige has definitely re-signed with WWE now, but again, massive shovel of salt, because I'm pretty sure we heard that Chris Jericho had also definitely signed back with WWE, and I think we now know that that was a load of bunkum. But I do have slightly more faith in the Paige stories, and I'm really hoping that we see her either at Mania or Raw after Mania. Next out, we have got Flair and Bliss versus Bayley and Lyra, apparently for momentum going into Mania. And straight away it all kicks off. I don't think we even got a bell with all four women in the ring, and from nowhere, the Irresistible Forces, Nia and Lash, turn up and beat down everyone in the ring in a very quick segment, leaving them standing tall. So, in old WWE terms, the Irresistible Forces end the go-home segment standing tall. They should be losing the belts at Mania, right? Or is that just wishful thinking? Tell me. It never really got started anyway. So that's where we are with that. And I think the promo beforehand probably told us a little bit more than the actual in-ring action. We get a good hype segment for Ferry versus Brock, which in my opinion has actually been built from nothing really, really nicely. And coming up next, we have the Jobber Battle Royale, which has really got everyone in it. The only two whose entrance we see, though, is Royce, who has been pushed like crazy tonight, and Joe Hendry, because, well, just what a cool entrance he has. The first out, we've got Kit Wilson tripping over Johnny, who is in his laying down state again. Then we've got typical battle royal, over the top chaos and madness. And as things start to thin out, we randomly get Tozawa manage to suplex Black, which seems unlikely. He then gets hit with Black Mass and put out, and we're down to the final three. We've got Royce, Keys, Otis and Talatonga. Otis goes out straight away, leaving Talatonga and Royce, and we've got Royce taking the win, winning absolutely nothing apart from a massive trophy. We get a really nice package pushing the Roman Punk match, which looks great, and then out straight away we get Cody, who interestingly doesn't get much of a reaction either way, which feels a little bit unusual. He asks Vegas what they want to talk about. He says we're not talking about the last three Manias and the conspiracy theories that someone is out to get him. The crowd then start chanting completely off their own backs for Pat McAfee to go home. He says tomorrow is simple. It's two guys fighting for the biggest prize in the game. His mentor, the legend killer Randy, he says he doesn't subscribe to the conspiracy theories or the reactions tonight. He says Randy talked about taking, but he's never taken responsibility for anything. He says that in 2009 he was the best Randy that we keep talking about, and even then he went to Mania and lost. He says as good as Randy has become, he's now associated with the word most wrestlers, and he never gets to finish that sentence because we get Punk's music kit, and Punk comes out in a suit. Blimey, that doesn't look right, but Punk on SmackDown is okay with me. Let's have it. Cody asks him if we shake hands or hug, are you going to turn on me too and kick me in the balls? Punk says there are a lot of people who deserve that round here, but not you. He says that he's out here to give him some advice and to stop him speaking someone's name who's just a tourist in the business. Punk says they go back a long way, and they've stood in the ring as friends and competitors many times. He says he wants to take a moment live on Friday night in Vegas to be there as champions, both headlining Mania. Punk says he isn't a teacher to him now, and he says just to focus on Randy. He says he doesn't know what happens over the weekend Saturday or Sunday at Mania, but he knows win, lose or draw on Monday, they will both be there. Punk says to all come with us on the journey and tells Cody that he's proud of him. Cody says he wants to share with him that he knows Roman. He is the most dominating Mania main eventer in history. He says he has redefined the schedules, and he says to Punk that he wasn't born into this. He came because he loved it. He says 10 years that he was gone and they chanted your name because they love you. Cody says, you could have come back and done the greatest hits, but you didn't. You came back better. Cody tells him that he is the new Mr. WrestleMania. And he says, thank you for everything you've taught me and thank you for sharing this moment in the ring with me. He tells him that his dad would be proud of him and he loves him. As we're about to go off air, Punk says the titles are everyone's and let's celebrate together. It was a bit cheesy, it was a bit corny, but I actually loved that segment. I thought that was really heartfelt. I love Punk. I love what he brings to the business. I just think he's just top. Did he look like he was wearing his dad's suit tonight on the show? Yes, he looked so out of place with suit and trainers, but I guess, mark of respect to the Hall of Fame, which was where both Cody and Punk were off to straight after this show. So, yes, it was corny, but did it get a bit dusty in my house around that time? Yeah, it did. It was really good. Really enjoyed that. Punk certainly does seem to have genuine beef with Pat McAfee, as he should have. It's just an absolute ridiculous angle that we're expected to buy into. As go-home shows go, I thought that was a really decent SmackDown, a good go-home show. As I said, I know I'm a big suck, but I love that promo at the end between Cody and Punk. In my opinion, that's proper. That's what we want to see. And as always, really, and as to be expected, WWE have done an epic job in catching things up and at the last minute actually making everyone genuinely care about most of the matches that we're about to see over Mania weekend. So you guys have heard my picks. Hopefully you've had a listen to the preview prediction show. And that's it. The curtain falls. We're coming to our, season ending event, which is our 2-night of WrestleMania in Vegas for the second year in a row. I'm excited. I think it might be a good one. I'm hoping it will be. So I'll see you guys next week on the other side, however you choose to enjoy your Mania weekend. I really hope you do enjoy it and get the most out of it. And let's hope we get a good show and some greater returns. That just about does it for me this week for a double show week. Thanks for having me in your ears once again. And remember, until next time, be kind.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.